Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video because today I'm going to film the finale for my Shop My Shadows series. This year I have been rotating through my eyeshadow collection and my goal was to use every single eyeshadow of my collection at least once this year because this has been a no-buy year for me too, so because I wasn't bringing in any new eyeshadows, I just wanted to get to know my collection. And that is what I have done. I have now used every single eyeshadow in my collection at least once. So in the beginning of the year I had 341 eyeshadows plus 5 eyeshadows in my Panda palette that I no longer have. But I have used all of those. I don't have all of those eyeshadows anymore in my collection. I have decluttered some and we are going to go through the numbers in the end of the video. But I can't believe that the year is almost over and I have now done this. I'm so happy I did it. At the same time, I'm ready for new challenges and I would not do this again. It has been quite challenging, but at least I now have used everything that I have in my collection. I think it was a really great idea for me to do this because this project made me realize how much I really do have eyeshadows in my collection. It took me a year to rotate through everything. Of course I did a little bit of project planning at the same time and I didn't use necessarily eyeshadow every single day, but for the most part I do wear eyeshadow like 5 or 6 days a week. Sometimes I may wear eyeshadow 5 times, sometimes I wear eyeshadow 7 days a week. It depends a little bit how my work is that week, but yeah, it has taken a long time for me to rotate through my eyeshadow collection and I do have so much eyeshadows that I love, and this series made me realize that I really do not need to buy more eyeshadows in a while. So after my no-buy year I am going to continue an eyeshadow no-buy until my collection is really downsized. Now that I have rotated through my collection, I will be filming one of those ranking my eyeshadow palettes videos, so that will be my next video, and after that my next video will be my Panda Palette 2020 intro, so I'm really excited for the videos that are coming. I cannot wait to film them, but before that, let's end this project, my Shop My Shadows, and let's still go through the eyeshadows that were in my rotation in the month of December. So in December I had in my rotation my last single eyeshadows, and they are these 4 eyeshadows in the left corner up here, and they are all foiled eyeshadows from Makeup Geek. So there's Magic Act, Grandstand, Legend and Flamethrower. So let me swatch these to you. So this is Magic Act. It is a beautiful light yellow gold. This one is Grandstand and it is really stunning, little bit warmer rose gold. I absolutely love this. This shade is Legend and it is like a coppery bronze eyeshadow. I like it. I thought about decluttering this one, but I'm going to keep all of these for now. But the thing is that I do have plenty of this kind of eyeshadows in my collection, but I still need to think about it. Maybe I will declutter my single eyeshadows still before we move, if I have time. That will take a little bit time, you know, because I want to compare my singles to the rest of my collection. So I'm not sure if I will have the time to do that, but if I will, then maybe I will compare this one to the other eyeshadows in this kind of color that I have in my collection. But it is a beautiful color. And then the last eyeshadow of these is Flamethrower and it is a beautiful copper. I absolutely do love it. Then in December I had in my rotation 3 different eyeshadow palettes, and I'm actually going to declutter 2 of those and keep only one. Because we are going to be moving in just a couple of weeks, it really makes me want to declutter some makeup that is not worth keeping, in my opinion. I just want to have makeup that I really do love and enjoy, and 2 of these palettes are nothing that special, so I don't want to keep them anymore. So I'm going to declutter this one. This is the Berry and Fall in Love eyeshadow palette, and I actually quite like this. I don't dislike this palette. I think it's a really nice palette, and the quality of this always surprises me. The deepest, the kind of like black or deep gray is not that great. I think it lacks pigmentation, and that is often the case with affordable drugstore mattes, that even if the lighter shades and the mid-toned shades work fine, the deepest shades are those that lack pigmentation, and that is the case with this palette. But other than that, I do really like the quality. In my opinion, these are really beginner friendly mattes. They are easy to work with, easy to blend, and the pigmentation is there with the rest of the shades. However, this is really nothing special in my collection. All of the neutral eyeshadows from this palette I do have multiple times in other palettes. And then there are these 3 pops of color. So a matte red, a matte orange, and a matte yellow. And all of these eyeshadows I do have somewhere else in my collection. Like this yellow, I do have really similar yellow to this in the Jeffree Star Androgyny eyeshadow palette, and that palette is huge, or those pans are huge, so I don't need another yellow. I don't wear matte yellow so often. Orange I do have both in Modern Renaissance that I will be padding next year, and also in the Juvia's Place the Nubian 2 palette. And in the Nubian 2 the pans are again huge. And then matte red I do have at least one depotted matte red from the Balm Mint Matrimony, that is huge. And then again in the Jeffree Star Androgyny eyeshadow palette there is a similar red to this. It's not matte, but it performs like matte. It's like a subtle satin, but you can wear it in your crease if you want to. So yeah, even though I do like this palette and I don't think it's bad, there is really no reason for me to keep this, because I do have every single shade somewhere else in my collection. And another thing with this palette is that, you know, I don't love completely matte eyeshadow palettes, because usually I like to wear something shimmery, at least on my lid. The color story is, it's really fall appropriate and it's fall themed, but I think it's not basic enough to be an all matte eyeshadow palette that could cover all of your needs. And then if I think about really fall appropriate palettes like the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette or the Juvia's Place the Nubian 2 palette, those palettes are something that I can create a complete look from those. They have those shimmers that I want, but then they have these mattes that I was talking about, these colorful ones. So I just think this is something that I don't see myself reaching for. Another palette that I'm going to declutter is this Viva Icon palette. This one is a Finnish brand sold exclusively in Sokos. I actually think this brand is like private labeled brand. They are owned by the Sokos store and they buy the products from somewhere. This palette is made in Italy, and so I think are many other products from this brand. So it's not like this brand owns these formulas or anything. But this is what the palette looks like. I kinda like some of these shadows, but some I don't really like at all. The eyeshadows that I like the most are this satin finish. I'm sorry, that's my neighbor's dog. There's apparently another dog walking by his window. This satin white eyeshadow is stunning. It's one of the most beautiful satin whites I have. However, I do have other satin whites. I don't need that much of this because I only tend to wear satin white on my brow bone, really. And then I do like this taupey eyeshadow. It has really beautiful sparkles in it. However, these glittery eyeshadows, they are quite hard pressed, and I feel that they don't really perform that well without a glitter glue. Well, it's not necessarily that big of a problem, but I don't like this white glitter bomb eyeshadow. I don't really like this gold, because I do have so much better golds in my collection. Then this burgundy shade I don't really like. I do have other eyeshadows in this kind of color that I like more. For example, in the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette there's eyeshadows like this. And then there is this light gray that is a satin. I don't really like it that much. So there's only really 2 eyeshadows that I like, but I don't want to keep the entire palette because of those 2 eyeshadows. So I decided to declutter this. Overall, these two eyeshadow palettes that I am going to declutter, I know that they are something that once they are out of my collection, I will never miss them. And I would not reach for them if I kept them. So I'm going to declutter them. However, what I am going to keep is this Ciate London Olivia Palermo palette. That was my main eyeshadow palette of the month. I do very much enjoy this palette. So this is what it looks like. First of all, I love the packaging. It's so sleek and luxurious, and I really do love the color story of this palette, and this is what I'm wearing today. The only thing I will say about this palette is that I don't think it has kind of like enough depth. So for example, the look that I am wearing today is kind of like soft look, and if I wanted to deepen up the look, I would need to reach for something else, but I wanted to create a look using only this palette, so this is what I came up with. I'm wearing this light plummy shade as transition shade, then I'm wearing in my crease this brown, and this beautiful rose gold is what I'm wearing on my lid, and then I do have as a brow bone highlighter this matte green shade. I think this is a stunning rose gold eyeshadow palette because I don't need a million shades of rose gold. This is such a stunning rose gold. It's a little bit more cool toned, for example, compared to the Makeup Geek brand stand. However, it's still not like a pink rose gold. I also do have the Makeup Geek eyeshadow in Luna that is more like a pinky rose gold. This one is just a beautiful rose gold that is quite neutral. And then there are these two shimmery eyeshadows, like a shimmery pinky eyeshadow and a shimmery deeper plum. This one is not really that deep, to be honest. This gold is absolutely stunning, one of my favorite golds in my collection. Overall, these shimmers are not the most metallic shimmers, they are just like basic shimmers, and I like that. But if you like your shimmers to be super foiled, maybe this formula is not for you. This palette is discontinued years ago, I think, so it's no longer available. But I do really like these shimmers. If I want to get a really foiled effect, then I'm just going to wet my brush and I will get that. The mattes I do really like, they are really easy to work with, blendable. The pigment is there, but as I said, what this palette lacks in my opinion is depth, so it could really benefit from a deeper brown. Anyways, this palette is something I do love a lot and I am going to keep this. Okay, so those were all of the eyeshadows I had in my rotation in December, and let's go through the numbers of the entire year. So as I said, in the beginning of the year I had in my collection 341 eyeshadows, and from those I have decided to keep 265 eyeshadows, so that is 78% of my collection. From these 265 I actually used up 6 because one of the palettes that was in my rotation in April I decided to pan, so it was my baby panda palette. So those I used up, so I do have currently in my collection 259 eyeshadows, and I feel that's still a lot. But from the eyeshadows that I had in the beginning of the year, I have decluttered 76 eyeshadows, so that is 22%, and I'm actually going to declutter at least one more eyeshadow palette, and maybe if I will have time I will go through my single eyeshadow collection and look if there is something there that I want to declutter. I know I should at least go through my loose eyeshadows still because I don't reach for them, and I decided to keep some that I don't know why I kept them. Like in October I had in my rotation a deep smoky shimmery grey eyeshadow, and yeah, I don't wear that kind of eyeshadows, and if I'm going to wear something like that I do have my Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette that I'm going to keep, so maybe I should still declutter my singles. So that was everything for this video. I can't believe this series is now over and I have used all of my eyeshadows this year. I'm so happy I did it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for following this series. I hope you will stick around to follow my next year eyeshadow panning project, so I will be having so much fun with my panda palette. Thank you for watching this video and see you in my next one. Bye bye.